7 p.m. Dang. Hello. Wow. Okay. I guess my microphone is on now. Yeah. Dang. Hello. Okay. Let's see. Wow. Okay. I guess my microphone is on now. I gotta turn off my feedback. Sorry. Okay. Well, my chat seems to be working, and I just did a whole show for like 30 minutes. Okay. I'll turn that down. There. Is that better? Well, I don't think there's anybody watching, and it looks like it's recording now. So let's go ahead and do a test. I want to see if this works. Let's see. Hello. Hello. Yeah, I'm trying to get my chat to work better, but for some reason when I type something in, it doesn't pop up for me. I was hoping that maybe somebody would be in here to help me chat and see if it works for them. That's my test. Oh boy. Okay, well, it looks like everything seems to be working now, and I'm live, and it's recording. Oh, I got this both open at the same time. Okay. All right. So sorry. Hey, this is David with 3 Arcs. I'm getting a little bit late start on my live. I know there's 3 people waiting for my channel to start, but unfortunately, it didn't start. I had the setup for YouTube incorrect. I guess you have to start it a certain way, and I guess I didn't do it. Also, it was muted, so I don't think I actually was connected to begin with to record on YouTube. But it looks like I am now, because I'm watching myself right now on YouTube speaking. A little bit of delay. And I turned down the latency so that way it won't be all choppy like some people complained about before. Well, I just went over everything already, so that's all I'm going to talk about. No, I'll do it again. Okay, so I was thinking about my live stream. What's the purpose of it? Because I make videos of every subject, every location or article that I write for the Temple of Elemental Evil campaign. And I make, dedicated videos on that subject. And, the edited with a lot of graphics, and I add what I'm talking about there. But I think that this live stream should be focused more on like an update of my week's efforts. What we done all week, what's been completed, what's been done and what's planned for next week. And I think that'd be a good idea, because one thing I noticed, I'll show you on the website, is the fact that not everybody can keep up with my production. Because I write 5-6 articles a day, and I put it up on my Discord, so people can follow along and comment or make changes, edit. But not everybody can keep up with all of it and do that. And so I'm always putting stuff up on Discord for people to collaborate with. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I work on articles during the day. 4 or 5 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week at the coffee house on my laptop, and I'm writing these articles. And then when I get home, my night times are devoted to map making and making YouTube videos. So that's my whole schedule. Lately, I just finished a map this week. And so now that the map is done, I'm focusing on now making another module for Dungeon Masters Guild. I'm going to make the Village of Nulb. It's going to be a huge, big module for the Temple of Elemental Evil. The Village of Nulb, just like the Village of Hamlet's done, it's going to be Nulb. And it's going to be big. It's going to be all the Temple of Elemental agents, the brigands, the bandits, the NPCs that live there, the pirates that come down the Enridge Run for slavers and supplies and things like that. And so that's going to be a big one. And so I'm working on that now, which is, I kind of anal about it, so it takes me forever, because the thing about a module is, it's a product that somebody bought. These websites I make, they're constantly being edited. Sometimes we find mistakes later, and I go back to the article and I make some changes and I edit it. Or I'm writing on other articles, and now we have more information that's related to this previous article, and so I have to go back in and update it. Like a god or an organization or the Wild Coast or something, something in Divers. And then I have to go back to all of these other articles and update them, and make some changes. And so you can't really do that with a module. You know, you can't get an email from me saying, "Hey, on page 37, I just added something. So here's another copy." You know, so I got to make sure the module is 100% complete and ready to go and usable at the table as a product. So that takes more time. Okay, so I guess right away I'm going to go ahead and look at here the website. So I'm going to go ahead and review what I've done this week, and then we'll talk about what I'm going to do next week. So I'm not going to repeat a lot of the stuff I always repeat in the past, because I've said a lot of these things so many times in videos in the past, you know, what we're all about, because you never know who would come to the channel that's new, they haven't seen my other videos. They don't really know what we're doing, you know, about this campaign, this open sandbox version of the epic campaign of Temple of Elemental Evil. We're not just running the module from the pages. It's not a dungeon slog. It's a campaign. It's an open sandbox campaign because we're creating all these villages and locations and organizations in the area, and here I am repeating myself again from those other videos. And so anybody watching this live stream probably would know all of this already from my other videos. If you haven't, you should be watching my other videos too. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and interact with this page here, and let me go ahead and click on it and interact. Oops, clicked the wrong button again. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down past the interactive map. And the World Codex is the table of contents on the left. All the maps are on the right. Oh, so this middle column says recent articles. That's supposed to be what I've done lately. My latest articles I've created. Well, I have to click on that button to get it to show up here. So I got to remember to do that. Also, it's only limited to 3. I'm doing 5 to 6 a day. So it's up to use to me. I did those articles like 3 or 4 days ago. I forgot to update it. And who's going to look at that every day to see my recent articles? It's going to change every day. So I complained already to the World Anvil about that. I said I need a list of 10. That'd be much more useful to me. Okay, so the table of contents on the left. So what we did during the week, before we get to Twilight Falls, I want to tell you about another village, and it's called Taymouth. So let's go to Taymouth. It's located in the northeast corner of the Viscounty of Verbobonc, and I'll show you the map later. So Taymouth is along the Velverdiver River to the northeast, you know, before you get to the Gnarley Forest, before you get to Divers, obviously. So Halagant is one of the Three Orcs members. He's a writer. He's written for a lot of magazines in the past and lived in Greyhawk. And he wrote up Taymouth. And he had made that map, too. So he collaborated with another Three Orcs Dungeon Master who was running their campaign in that area, too. And so they collaborated together and came up with this. So they wrote all the articles already for all the different locations there. And they're supposed to be adding it to the website. So I gave them editor permissions, and they haven't done it yet. So that I went ahead and created the splash screen, the front page for Taymouth for them to encourage them to get them going. So we have everything you need to know about the village right here as the village, not the detailed separate locations in the village, but we know the history, the people there, the geography, the notable figures and places there. So the locations are listed here, but they need to be keyed. They need separate articles. The government, religion, all the different temples there, the economy, defense, military, even the demographics. So I even created a chart for them to help out. I put some effort into this to get them going, and they still haven't done it yet. On the right-hand side, I wrote a quote. I made a picture of what it looks like downtown. Population's 187. Notable figures on the side on the right again. So I'll usually create separate NPC articles for each NPC and the location, because it's important to have articles for NPCs, because you can put them as session reports, and you connect them to different locations and organizations, like they belong to the Church of St. Cuthbert. Good example, or the Mounted Borderers, or the Gnarley Rangers. And then I had another quote I wrote, and the author is Damon Edwards. That's who the author is. And so that's what I did this week, get them going. There we go. Okay, so let's go back to the main page again. Let me check my chat here. Looks like nobody's chatting. I'm not really sure if people are in there or not, but I think it looks like I got 2 viewers maybe, or that might just be me. But this can be, a lot of people watch videos later, after it's been aired. Ah. So Hem the Hunter asked if this is VTT compatible, and Foundry specifically. Hi Hem, I didn't see you until just now. I don't know why you didn't pop up in my chat here. Oh, I know why. Okay, let's see if I can't pop it up. So I have to go to... Oh. You should have popped up. I don't know why. My SS Ninja chat overlay isn't working. Maybe I gotta refresh it. Right click. Refresh. And let's see. Hello, Harn. Let's see if this is working. So I typed in chat, but it's not popping up here either. I don't know why I can never get this stuff to work. I tested it and it worked then. But whenever I go live, nothing works. I don't get it. So if somebody types into something again, maybe it'll pop up then. Or maybe it's laggy. Oh, maybe I could select a stream. Hold on, let me hit that. Okay, I selected a stream. Maybe that'll help. Hello and thank you. Hello. Okay, let's see if that pops up in chat. I put all this effort into chat. It's not even coming up. I want a refund. Oh, I'll figure it out later. Okay, so I'll keep my eye on chat. Foundry. So I wrote a Patreon article about that with one of my maps, and I wrote some guidelines. All VTT apps use maps, PNG or JPEG. It's just an image. You can use your family pictures at Christmas and import that as a map. It's just a picture. It's just an image. And all VTT apps use those images, but they all have, they all have certain limitations, like how many megabytes it can be and maximum resolution size. And I wrote an article about that using examples, and Foundry was one of them. I don't have the article in front of me right now, but I believe Foundry is limited to 25 megabytes, I think. I can't remember. And also 6,000 by 6,000 pixels, or maybe it's 15,000. But if you go to my Patreon, you can see the article there. Or you can just do a Google search for Foundry, and it'll tell you the limitations. So that's great for bringing that up, because when I make my maps, like the map for the village of Nulb, or the Lizardman village I did this week, which I'm going to go over too, I make several versions of it. So my public version is always 10 megabytes, because that's the maximum size of image I can share on Discord. And I share that with all my Discord members. Hey, look at the map. I'm working on it. What do you guys think? Should I move this building here? Should I add a path here? I'm always updating them and asking them as I'm working on it. And I make sure it's 10 megabyte size, and you can do whatever you want with it. It's free. And also, when I post it on Facebook, it's the 10 megabyte version. If you go to the Patreon, I usually have several more versions. They get up to like 65 megabyte size files. They're really big. Like 8,000 by 8,000 resolution, depending on the map. And they're all not that big. They're pretty big. I think my smallest large size is 25 megabytes. I know World Anvil is maximum 15 megabytes. And I just updated the Viscounty of Verbobonc today to a 15 megabyte file. I pushed the limits. We'll go over that in a minute too. So anyway, I'm gonna scroll down. Yeah, this one right here. I updated it. You know how I can tell I updated it? See Nulb? There's no Temple of Elemental Evil building there anymore. I keep saying that in all my videos. I need to remove that building so players won't see it. Even though it is public ruins, right? Anybody that knew anything about the first rising of the Temple of Elemental Evil and the Battle of Emery Meadow would know generally that there was ruins south near Nulb. But I took it out anyway. It depends how you look at it. Okay, so table of contents on the left. Oh, Taymouth. We did Taymouth. So another thing I did, let's see, I'm trying to remember what I did this week. We did Viscounty, Taymouth, Twilight Falls. Oh, yeah, the Lizardman Village. Let's go there next. So I'm going to do a separate review on that. So I'm just going to look at the map right now. So that's a good idea. Let's just look at the map. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. That's all these maps that are done. And all these maps are fully keyed as well. So it's an article and NPC articles for everything. So at the very bottom, it's all alphabetical order. So that helps. The Wild Coast is here. There it is, Zasseltor. So it took me over a month to do this one. Isn't it beautiful? So this is a lizard man village, lizard folk, in the middle of the Fens of Tor, which is on the eastern border of the Viscounty of Verbobonc along the Gnarley Forest. And this major campaign area. This village is only like 6 or 7 miles away from Nulb. That's huge. That's well within the open sandbox play area of the campaign. So this is the main village area. I made all these objects myself. I had to handwrite them because I couldn't find any swamp village objects out there available to buy. And I got frustrated, so I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna make my own. So the only thing, even the trees, I made all this stuff. The only thing I didn't make is these lily pads and these bridges and these kind of plants. You can't see my cursor. The little plants. I made everything else though. Okay, zoom out. So this is how the village works. You got the center area. Nobody's allowed in. They'll kill you. And see the guard towers? There's one guard tower on the north side. There's another guard tower on the south side, number 6. So this is the main village area. That's the shaman hut, the leader. If you see those little pylons around the edges of the buildings? That means they're on stilts, stilt houses. Each article has its own artwork, so you can tell if it's stilts or not. Artwork's pretty close to what these should look like on this map. So if I scroll down to the south, now this is on the left. Number 7 is the fishery. That's the fishery, and number 4 is the breeding dens. And in fact, I even have a couple of giant lizards in there in the cages. So the players can get into a lot of trouble here. So scroll out, and on the bottom right-hand corner to the southeast is another entrance. So most of this village is underground. What you saw topside is only a quarter or probably a third of the village. Most of it's underground, like all these breeding dens and shrines and treasure rooms and stuff. There's a lot of treasure here. And it's ancient. These lizard men have been here millennia. They're ancient. In fact, the Great Lizard King used to rule them a long time ago. One of the Great Lizard Kings. Not from the I2 module, but one I made up based on the lore of the Euroflan. And that Euroflan's another article. Anyway, that's ancient history. So this is the remnants of that race. And there's a lot of galore here. And I fit it all carefully with the Temple of Elemental Evil in the region. And I worked with Sam Weiss, who's a lore expert of Greyhawk. He's the one that wrote the Euroflan article originally, and he wrote for all these magazines in the past. So number 22 is another entrance into the village below the swamp. And these are breeding dens. And there's also a diplomatic cave in there. Like the local froglets come by and try to work with the lizard men. And maybe some of the pirates or brigands from Null come here. Because this is where they get their rare fungi for poisons. And they come here to trade regularly. And the lizard men have a secret. That whole ancient Lizard King secret, yeah, that dungeon's here nearby, and the lizard men are trying to keep that secret. And those brigands find out about it, or the bandits from Nulb, the Temple of Elemental Evil agents, all bets are off. They're coming for them, and players better hope they don't get here before they do. That's gonna be a big deal. It's game changing. Okay, so bottom left hand corner. So anybody that wants to do anything, trade or talk to the lizardmen, they're not allowed past area number 1. This is the trade area, the trading hollow. There's docks on the left for that boat to get supplies up to the main village. There's also a trail to get back and forth too. So they're not allowed past number 1, and this is where they do all the trading. I made some NPCs. They come and trade here from the local village. There's also a spy here trying to find out what those lizardmen are up to. And that's all keyed with a separate NPC article too. It's all ready to go. So back to the zoom out here. There's another path going west. Just a path. You can remember these are hunter-gatherers. So they're wandering monsters. No matter where the players are in the Fens of Tor, there's a high chance they're going to come across a patrol or a hunting team crew, gang, I don't know what you call it, a hunting team of lizardmen out hunting. So depending on how the players role play that, There's a chance they might learn about this village, and there's also a chance they might come here, maybe invited or maybe self-invite. You don't know. It depends how the Dungeon Master handles that. On the right-hand side is a trail that keeps going. It goes towards the river, Emerald Run, more into the swamp. And it's not expected for players to travel through here, to come in on one end and come out the other end. No, this is not on the main road of their traversing the swamp to get to the ancient Soul Temple. This is like a side thing. And it's just to add more to the campaign. Because remember, you really need to get your players to be well over 5th level before they tackle the actual Temple of Elemental Evil. So I'm adding a lot of stuff, a lot of other dungeons and locations in this campaign to interact with the players. Okay, so Hearn the Hunter said, my players are experts at finding trouble. Yeah, and this is a perfect example of that. They can get into a lot of trouble here. And that shaman... This place is full of Keed, by the way. You can go there right now on on the website, the Verbobonc Campaign Guide 576, and read all about it. It's like 18 locations here, fully keyed with NPCs with battle stats, stat blocks, everything. And magic items, it's all here, including plot points. So I just want to show off my map right now. I'm going to go ahead and do a full review of this later. I'm also going to turn this into a module, too. All right, scroll back to the main page again. So I just want to show you that I finished that map this week. A lot of stress, at nighttime trying to get these projects done. Because when I get home, I just want to play a video game. So I have to force myself to work. Anyway, so back down to Atlas and Viscount T. So the next thing I want to show, we looked at Taymouth, we looked at Valsator. Now we're going to look at Twilight Falls. Now Twilight Falls, I already did a video review of that. Only 4 locations though. I got a lot farther. So I just want to give you an update what I did this week, right? In the last couple of weeks. So this is the main article for Twilight Falls and what it looks like. And the only thing I changed on the main article, on the right-hand side, is I added a couple more figures. I added Brother Rodri, the Furlong priest at the temple there, the Longstrider. I added him, and he has his own article too, and location. And I also added the Bailiff Raldo, and everything you need to know about him, including artwork and stuff, and the law. You get in a lot of trouble with him. And on the right-hand side below is the table of contents of all the locations. So since we talked last about this place, yeah, I talked about up to 4, I think, last time I reviewed this, or up to number 6. So 7 is the Weary Woodsman. I added that, which is another tavern on the edge of town. And then Narik's Tavern, so it's 2 taverns. And this one's a little different. This is more high-end. It's a wine hall of Twilight Falls. Yeah, that's probably something. I don't know if I talked about this last time. The Weary Woodsman fits. So this is 576, 578 common year. A lot of the stuff, information we got, Halagant wrote for Living Greyhawk. So a lot of his stuff is from 594 common year and up. So some of these things haven't happened yet. Some of these places weren't built yet. Some of these NPCs have not come here yet. That's the problem we're having. And so I'm kind of leaving that stuff out. And there's a thing called a cottage, and there's a thing called a shop. So I did a lot of research on online, medieval 16th century, which is basically what Greyhawk should be, about 16th century medieval. Yeah, I see Hearn, you asked me if I plan to record live stream gameplay. Well, that's a whole thing. It'd be boring. The only way those are actually interesting if you have multiple cameras and microphones and lighting, and you kind of put on a production, you put on a entertainment, you kind of have to entertain the camera a little bit. It's boring watching people just play. It's just not the same. It drags unless you edit the heck out of it. It's not a good idea. It'd make anybody look bad. It'd be boring. The live streams that you see people playing, they put some effort into the entertainment part of it to keep it interesting, and that's hard to do. I don't want to deal with it. I got too much going on my plate to worry about that. Also, there's another problem besides that. The players, they have to be on board. They have to be wanting to be on camera to do this. And most players don't want to do that at all. I'm not going to be on camera. I look horrible. I can't role play out of a paper bag. So that ain't gonna happen. All right. So oh yeah, shops. There's no such thing as a store. Google it. Store wasn't really invented until like 18th century. So no, it's all shops. Everything's a shop or a mercantile. Those are the words they used back then. So I called this one the let's go ahead and click on it. Torslund's General Shop. I created this today. So it's a shop. What it looks like, what he looks like, description, Vance. I did not create a separate article for him because I just don't see that character really getting involved too much into the campaign besides just being a fixture at the store that the players roleplay with. And everything you need to know about him is on the right-hand side. So why bother? His political stance and his role. And I added some adventuring hooks like I do every article, including all this dialogue. You know, I always add all this quotes here to help you roleplay the character and location. So you got a recent shipment from divers gone missing. That's interesting. Ratchet discovers his assistant, his shop assistant. She discovers a strange artifact hidden in a crate. That's cool. A burglary attempt leaves behind arcane symbols. And Vance is pressured by Trimber to raise prices on supplies for rangers and druids. That's a big political thing too. You know, you got to imagine also what kind of players you have at your table. You know, how much they role play and how much they engage and what character classes they are. If you have a half-elf gnarly ranger in your group, yeah, he's going to definitely care about that, right? In fact, his night ranger or the senior leader of his group might request he come here to investigate this. So instead of creating separate articles, I put some effort into this magic item. So this is a non-magical item. It's a special fungi you get from the Fans of Tor, and I got it listed for 200 gold. Anything I put on here is just a recommendation. You know, you're the Dungeon Master; you can charge whatever you want. And I have a full description here on Patreon. I wrote a character sheet handout for this item. You know, the kind of block, a magic item block. I wrote one that you can print it up and hand it out. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, this is fun too. I even put an adventuring tip at the bottom there. On the right-hand side is him, and then there's a shop assistant, Ratchet, and everything you need to know about her. If she gets involved in any kind of plot stuff, I might make a separate article for her. But as of now, she's just here in this article. And on the bottom right-hand corner is the inventory and services. So there you go. I did that today. So let's go ahead and go back. Unfortunately, I have to click on this to go back to the main page because I'm on this app that won't let me right-click. Atlas. I got my glasses on today because I got tired of doing this all the time when I was live streaming. And when I'm making a video, you don't see me doing that. But, sorry. Got to focus. I edit that stuff out. Twilight Falls. And now the next one is the Old Worm. So I did this today too. So this is a forge with a dwarf, and he's a priest, a cleric of Blarid, however you pronounce that. And everything you need to know about him is here. And he doesn't have a separate article either. Not even a stat block. I could create one, but if you look at the article, you see how it's kind of full already? Stat blocks are big. They take up a lot of room. But I could make one. You guys let me know below if I should make a stat block for him. He's kind of a fixture in the shop. Is he really ever going to get into combat? So, I don't know. You guys let me know. Let's see. Structure, atmosphere. Oh, so this is one of the things I do extra. I did it in this article. Flavor text. So I got flavor text here in the middle, the white area, of description of getting into the shop, describing it to the players, and then I add a dialogue of him introducing himself to the players. I usually write something like that all the time. So the faith of the forge and the worship, and this is where he performs his worship and services. I described all that for you with the politics and some adventuring hooks, like the sacred anvil. Mayor Robleth Tyne attempts to conscript his apprentice. A strange metal ore is delivered to the forge. Or the ranger's broken sword. That's a good idea too. So this turned out pretty good. I'm not sure if I'm going to make a separate article for the NPCs, but okay, let's go back and Atlas and there and Twilight Falls. Okay, so hey, what happened? So that was number 12. So there is no 13. Twilight Falls, the falls themselves is a separate article, but it's not numbered. It's at the bottom of that list, beneath number 9. I also did a Tyne Timber Lumber Yard at the beginning of the week. I did that one too. So I'm going to do a full review of the whole location after I'm done with the village. So at this point, stay on track here. I got to see where we're at now. So let's go ahead and pull up Twilight Forest Falls again. So this is what I did so far. So I'm thinking, okay, what logically needs to be created in this town next? Skins? What's it called when you dye skins? Yeah. I need to make one of them places. I'm playing this really cool video game called Bellwright, where you build medieval village, and you create more technology to get better at it and create better buildings. It's really cool. I'm having a lot of fun. I just unlocked iron, so I can make iron bars, make with armor and swords. But they have all these different buildings too that I'm talking about. What's typical in a medieval village. So I got to think of some locations here also. So if you have any ideas of what you think would be a good idea to add to this village, let me know down below. And tomorrow, that's what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm going to create some more locations here that logically should be here. Like the mayor, he doesn't have a place yet, I don't think. So I need to add some locations, because the reason I know the mayor does not have a place yet is because under characters and location right here, he doesn't. He's listed here under this article. Now NPCs are always associated with the articles they're at. So he's not attached to a location yet, only the village. So that's why I know he's not attached to another article. He doesn't have a place to be. So if you're looking for an NPC, you have to look at the locations, and you'll see the NPCs and their links in that location. Another way to find an NPC, if you scroll to the top, right here in the search window. And so Rob, type in any word, and it'll pop up all these different choices here. And this is one way to find something in the campaign. I mean, you can find almost anything here. I have over 1,500 articles. So we got Hieronis. See, there you go. You got Hieronis, the Temple of Hieronis, and the Holy Order of Hieronis. Those three popped right up. Anything you can think of, type there first. Or you can click on it and it'll pull up the article as well. Another way, if you go back to the front page, is to, there's another search window at the top there. But I also have, under the table of contents, under Encyclopedia, I do have non-player characters. See? And I categorize the priest and cleric separate, so they have their own subfolder. And commoners and peasants. I probably should add more categories, subfolders here, to break them up more, because look how many NPCs there are. Those are the ones not in the folders. It's a lot. That's nothing. This is a public site. My private site is a lot more than this. I've been working on that for 7 years. Okay, so where are we at here? We did Taymouth, Zalslator, and Twilight Falls. I've been working on those all week, and I finished that map. So next week I'll probably focus on making the lower levels of Zalslator, finish Twilight Falls, and then where should I go next? What village? So the other guys are supposed to be working on Taymouth. So I need to figure out the next location I should be focused on. So if you guys have a need in your campaign, let me know. I'm heading through the Gnarley Forest, do all those villages there. Ooh. And also the Wild Coast and Divers. Divers needs to be done. But it just reminded me of something. Let's look at the map. It's a big hole in the campaign. If you guys know anything about this, any information, let me know, because we need it. I got somebody that might be writing something up. Okay, so this is the Viscounty of Verbobonc. And if you go all the way into the Gnarley Forest, this map does not show all of the Gnarley Forest, only part of it. There we go. Okay, can you see that on the map? You can see it on screen? Yeah. See the 4 clans? The 4 elven clans? They're still beholden to Selene, the Fey Kingdom of Queen Yolanda. Well, they need to be written up. Those 4 clans need to be written up as separate articles, and also the town, the villages there, and NPCs. We need the leaders, scout leaders, diplomats, whoever's in charge of the magic, the teaching of the magic, things like that. They're big articles, and they need to be done. It's a big hole. It's right in the middle of everything. It's between the Viscounty of Verbobonc and the Wild Coast and Divers. It's in the middle of the whole campaign. There's nothing on them except for a small paragraph in the old Living Greyhawk guide. That's lame. I have a Elves of the Gnarley article. Let's see. I'll show you what I mean. So this is what I have so far. Just type in elves. Let's see, Elves of the Gnarley Forest. So this is what I got. I have one article that talks about all of it. It's not enough. I talk about, in general, the settlement, the code of the people, their history, their relationships, the mounted borderers, clan territory. See that on the right? That's all we know about those clans. That's it. That's the only thing we know. And then I had to add more, come up with my own stuff, why, their politics with the Rangers and the mounted borderers and the Viscounty and all that. I got the code of people from Living Greyhawk. That's not mine. But yeah, so these clan locations, this is a organizational article. It's not a location. So those 4 locations need to be created. All right, so Hearn the Hunter says, I'm looking forward to the Gnarley Wood. Yeah, me too. So I guess you want more locations. Hearn, is there any particular locations in the Gnarley that you're interested in? Let's take a look. I'll show you guys on the map here. Doopy doopy doop. Scroll all the way down to Viscounty. I could create a separate article for the Gnarley Forest and have the map of just the Gnarley Forest. The only thing I have right now is Anna Meyer's map. So that's the one I would be using. See that? It's a separate article. What happens if I click on it? Yeah, see, I have a Gnarley Forest article. And all the organizations that live in it. That's done. But then the map, Anna Meyer's map is on that article. Okay, so we have Twilight Falls is getting done. Nulb is done. Hamlet's done. Chernob, Osberg, they're all done. Humming's End needs to be done. And Oakvane, this place, Carter's Meadow and Carter's Hearth, Ruby Falls, that's a big one. If we can get Divers done, I would like to get all these in a row done. Sobbenwich is in the lands of the Divers. The capital for one, so Hearn the Hunter said, the capital for one. I'm hoping a fairyland is placed with some flavor. Fairyland in Greyhawk would be more of a wild location. And so I think the Welkwood is more of a fairy location in Greyhawk. And so, for example, if you wanted to place Dolmenwood, from Old School Essentials, the Dolmenwood campaign, which is only 100 miles wide, that's meant to be placed in a wild fey area of a deep forest. And the Welkwood would serve that purpose. But I don't plan to really go that far south in the campaign anytime soon, because I'm trying to complete all the locations close to Nulb as soon as possible, so that way people can use it in their campaign running the Temple of Elemental Evil, and I'll work my way out. And if I get help from other Dungeon Masters out there to help me create these locations, all the better. I'll get things done faster. If somebody can tackle some of these other villages, at least get me the write-ups, and then I can actually create the articles from them, including this dragon right here, the Gnarley Forest. So I'll show you the Gnarley Forest, what I got done so far. If you scroll to the bottom, you can click on Read Full Article. There we go. Okay, so that's Anna Meyer's map, and all the basics are here. The ecology, the trees, relationships, politics, some dialogue, Viscounty control, the Old Faith, the Druids. I have a spoiler here of the Gnarley Forest. and some artwork on the right. And see that on the right-hand side, there's these other organization links, like to the Elves of the Gnarley, the Woodsmen of the Gnarley. The Woodsmen of the Gnarley are the woodsmen that live in these human villages. They're woodsmen. They're foresters, they're hunters, gatherers. They're their own community in the Gnarley Forest. They're woodsmen, and that's where the Gnarley Rangers come from. They grow up to be a ranger sometimes. Druids of the Gnarley, same thing. Gnarley Rangers, and some of these characters here. So the main article for Gnarley Forest is done, but location-wise, I didn't put locations here because I put them on in the table of contents under Forest. I know why. The Gnarley Forest isn't a geographical area for a country, because the Viscounty of Verbobonc owns like a third of it, and the Wild Coast owns a third, and then the Elves own the whole center, the 4 clans. So it's kind of all divided up. So the Gnarley Forest is in its own area, its own country. That's why I didn't put the locations in the Gnarley Forest, because that won't work. So any location that's in the Viscounty of Verbobonc that happens to be in the Gnarley Forest is still in the Viscounty of Verbobonc at the table of contents. Okay, so Hearn the Hunter said, I'm guessing the players may need to travel to the capital to gain support. Well, Hearn, I don't know what capital you're talking about. You talking about the city of Verbobonc? Let's go ahead and get down to the map again. So this is the map. I start my campaign in the city of Verbobonc, so the players always have a reason to go back there. Because you got the churches. So any clerics or paladins in the group, that's where their bishop is or their master. And they report in, get help, get information, get training, stuff like that. And also the wizards, they might be from the academy there, the Wrinkle Academy, and the other wizard school. I can't remember the name. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, there's a wizard school there. And so they're sent out for adventure too. And they belong to the Mages Guild. The Silver Consortium. Okay, capital Selene. So you're talking about Selene. Queen Yolanda. So Hearn the Hunter said that... I wish it would pop up in this thing. He said that he's talking about going to Selene. So I think, in my opinion, in this campaign, Queen Yolanda closed the borders. Nobody's allowed in or out unless you're an elf that's from there. And so, because she doesn't want to be involved with the politics of the world around her. She's sick of it, ever since the Hateful Wars. And so it's possible for a pure elf to be from Selene. And he came for a couple of reasons. He came to the Viscounty for adventure to find out what's going on with the problems lately. So the Gift of Beauty was made by Veluna, Fiorendi, artisans, and clerics and the druids of the Gnarley. They all got together, put all these great gifts of beauty into this chest called the Gift of Beauty, and it was to be delivered to Queen Yolanda and Selene as a peaceful offering to get her to open the borders again. Well, guess what? The agents at the Temple of Elemental Evil sent their hit squad, a raiding group, by the Earth Temple, and they ambushed it like a mile away from the border, just south of Ostburg, and they took that gift. So that's a really good reason for an elf from Selene to come to the Viscounty, find out what is going on, to get to the bottom of things. And his friend is Lord Delevue in Ostburg. He's a commander of the 3rd Brigade of the Mounted Borderers that's depleted because Viscount Wilfric pulled back the Mounted Borderers from patrolling the Crown Hills. Another problem. Now, what's going on here? Queen Yolanda's policies closed borders. Want nothing to do with it officially. Now, the Knights of Selene, the Knights of the Moon, Luna, the Knights of Luna, they do what they want to do, and they come across the border and get involved all the time. So there's lots of reasons why an elf from Selene would come here. And he can return to Selene, yeah, and get help, information, training, feedback, yes. Yep, Selene, Yolanda. So that's a good reason. That's a good background for a character for an elf. So if I was to help a player create a background for an elven character in the group, a pure elf, you'd either be from one of the 4 clans in the Gnarley, or from Selene. That's it. They're the closest and easiest to handle in a campaign, accessible. Of course, he could be from somewhere else, but then that'd be shoehorning in that stuff and be kind of vague. I'm not really a big fan of that. So yeah, half elves are from the Gnarley Forest. You don't really see many half elves coming from Selene, so it'd be mostly from the Gnarley Forest. And of course, there's half elves in the Viscounty too, of course, because they do mate. In fact, there's some half elf shop owners and innkeepers in the campaign. If you go through all the cities I made, you'll find them. All right, so I think I answered that question there. Selene is done, by the way. Onstead, the capital of Selene, it has its own article and its own locations there. I wrote like 5 or 6 articles, locations in the city. And I also wrote up some articles with Helligant about the principalities in the area too and their leaders. So that's all that lore is there to use in the campaign for background stuff. To involve an elf into the campaign, a Temple of Elemental Evil. You can do all that from anywhere, but I can only do so much in the time I've given every day, 7 days a week, 4 or 5 hours a day. My voice is giving out. This is the second attempt tonight to record this, so this is like double the amount of work to make this broadcast. Greenway Valley's down with Kron, so any gnomes can be from there, or they can be from Sheer Knob, that's a gnome town too. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. So next, I went in this video. Let's go ahead and get back to the main screen here. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so this video, this wrap up here, is I went over what I did last week, a review, an update to everybody that doesn't have time to follow what I'm doing on the Three Orcs Discord, and also what my intentions of what I'm planning to work on next week. And I think I'm going to be focusing on these videos for that, that reason. That way people can just watch one video and get an update of what's happening. Kind of like the Sunday night news. All right, so thank you for taking the time to watch. And you're welcome, Hearn, for addressing your questions. If you guys have any comments, don't forget to, post it down below and I'll get to them. But you're also more than welcome to come to the Three Orcs Discord where we talk about this stuff every day, all day long. And other Dungeon Masters running their campaigns here in this campaign are there as well. And they talk about this stuff too, about their campaigns and what they're doing. So, and we got a lot of talented veterans of Greyhawk here. This channel's attracting. So also, you come to my Patreon and you can get all the extra lore and articles and artwork and maps and things for the Patreon members. And a lot of the stuff is for free too. Well, thank you. You guys have a good Sunday. And I look forward to doing another update next week. So let me go ahead and sign off here and we'll end it. Let's see.